between N9 of the adenine ring and C1 of the ribose. Bond cleavage results in an oxycarbonyl ion on the ribose, stabilized by glue 177. N3 protonation of adenine by ARG180 allows deprotonation of a nearby water molecule. Resulting hydroxyl attacks ribose carbonyl ion. Depurination of adenine results in a neutral ribose on an intact phosphodiester RNA backbone. Toxicity. Ricin is very toxic if inhaled, injected, or ingested. It can also be toxic if dust contacts the eyes or if it is absorbed through damaged skin. It acts as a toxin by inhibiting protein synthesis. 28, 29. It prevents cells from assembling various amino acids into proteins according to the messages it receives from messenger RNA in a process conducted by the cell's ribosome, the protein-making machinery, that is, the most basic level of cell metabolism, essential to all living cells and thus to life itself. Ricin is resistant, but not impervious, to digestion by peptidases. By ingestion, the pathology of ricin is largely restricted to the gastrointestinal tract, where it may cause mucosal injuries. With appropriate treatment, most patients will make a good recovery. 30. 31. Symptoms. Castor beans, castor oil seeds in the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew Economic Botany Collection. Because the symptoms are caused by failure to make protein, they may take anywhere from hours to days to appear, depending on the route of exposure and the dose. When ingested, gastrointestinal symptoms can manifest within 6 hours. These symptoms do not always become apparent. Within 2 to 5 days of exposure to ricin, its effects on the central nervous system, adrenal glands, kidneys, and liver appear. 29. Ingestion of ricin causes pain, inflammation, and hemorrhage in the mucosal membranes of the gastrointestinal system. Gastrointestinal symptoms quickly progress to severe nausea, vomiting, diarrhea and difficulty swallowing, dysphagia. Hemorrhage causes bloodaphesis, melena, and vomiting blood, hematemesis. The low blood volume, hypovolemia, caused by gastrointestinal fluid loss can lead to organ failure in the pancreas, kidney, liver, and GI tract and progress to shock. Shock and organ failure are indicated by disorientation, stupor, weakness, drowsiness, excessive thirst, polydipsia, low urine production, oliguria, and bloody urine, hematuria. 29. Symptoms of ricin inhalation are different from those caused by ingestion. Early symptoms include a cough and fever. 29. When skin or inhalation exposure occur, ricin can cause an allergy to develop. This is indicated by swelling, edema, of the eyes and lips, asthma, bronchial irritation, dry, sore throat, congestion, skin redness, erythema, skin blisters, desiccation, wheezing, itchy watery eyes, chest tightness, and skin irritation. 29. Treatment. An antidote has been developed by the UK military, although as of 2006 it has not yet been tested on humans. 32. 33. As of 2005 another antidote developed by the US military has been shown to be safe and effective in lab mice injected with antibody-rich blood mixed with ricin, and has had some human testing. 34. Monoclonal antibodies are under scientific investigation as a possible treatment for ricin poisoning. 35. Symptomatic and supportive treatments are available for ricin poisoning. Existing treatments emphasize minimizing the effects of the poison. Possible treatments include intravenous fluids or electrolytes, airway management, assisted ventilation, or giving medications to remedy seizures and low blood pressure. If the ricin has been ingested recently, the stomach can be flushed by ingesting activated charcoal or by performing gastric lavage. Survivors often develop long-term organ damage. Ricin causes severe diarrhea and vomiting, and victims can die of circulatory shock or organ failure. Inhaled ricin can cause fatal pulmonary edema or respiratory failure. Death typically occurs within 3-5 days of exposure. 29. Prevention. Vaccination is possible by injecting an inactive form of protein chain. 9. This vaccination is effective for several months due to the body's production of antibodies to the foreign protein. In 1978, Bulgarian defector Vladimir Kostov survived a ricin attack similar to the one on Georgy Markov, probably due to his body's production of antibodies. When a ricin-laced pellet was removed from the small of his back, it was found that some of the original wax coating was still attached. For this reason, only small amounts of ricin had leaked out of the pellet, producing some symptoms but allowing his body to develop immunity to further poisoning. 9. Sources. The seeds of Ricinus communis are commonly crushed to extract castor oil. As ricin is not oil-soluble, little is found in the extracted castor oil. 9. The extracted oil is also heated to more than 80 degrees Celsius, 176 degrees Fahrenheit, to denature any ricin that may be present. 9. The remaining spent crushed seeds, called variously the cake, oil cake, and press cake, can contain up to 5% ricin. 36. While the oil cake from coconut, peanuts, and sometimes cotton seeds can be used as cattle feed or fertilizer, the toxic nature of castor beans precludes the oil cake from being used as feed. Unless the ricin is first deactivated by autoclaving. 37. Accidental ingestion of Ricinus communis cake intended for fertilizer has been reported to be responsible for fatal ricin poisoning in animals. 28. 38. Deaths from ingesting castor plant seeds are rare, partly because of their indigestible seed coat, and because some of the ricin is deactivated in the stomach. 5. The pulp from 8 beans is considered dangerous to an adult. 39. Rover and Hurt have written that close examination of early 20th century case reports indicates that public and professional perceptions of ricin toxicity do not accurately reflect the capabilities of modern medical management. 40. Most acute poisoning episodes in humans are the result of oral ingestion of castor beans, 520 of which could prove fatal to an adult. Swallowing castor beans rarely proves to be fatal unless the bean is thoroughly chewed. The survival rate of castor bean ingestion is 98%. 9. In 2013, a 37-year-old woman in the United States survived after ingesting 30 beans. 41. Victims often manifest nausea, diarrhea, fast heart rate, low blood pressure, and seizures persisting for up to a week. 28. Blood, plasma, or urine ricin or ricinine concentrations may be measured to confirm diagnosis. The laboratory testing usually involves immunoassay or liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. 42. Therapeutic applications. Although no approved therapeutics are currently based on ricin, it does have the potential to be used in the treatment of tumors, as a magic bullet to destroy targeted cells. 14. Because ricin is a protein, it can be linked to a monoclonal antibody to target cancerous cells recognized by the antibody. The major problem with ricin is that its native internalization sequences are distributed throughout the protein. If any of these native internalization sequences are present in a therapeutic agent, the drug will be internalized by and kill untargeted non-tumorous cells as well as targeted cancerous cells. Modifying ricin may sufficiently lessen the likelihood that the ricin component of these immunotoxins will cause the wrong cells to internalize it, while still retaining its cell-killing activity when it is internalized with targeted cells. However, bacterial toxins, such as diphtheria toxin, which is used in denileukin diphthitox, an FDA-approved treatment for leukemia and lymphoma, have proven to be more practical. A promising approach for Ricin is to use the non-toxic B subunit, a lectin, as a vehicle for delivering antigens into cells, thus greatly increasing their immunogenicity. Use of Ricin as an adjuvant has potential implications for developing mucosal vaccines. Regulation. In the US, Ricin appears on the Select Agents list of the Department of Health and Human Services, 43, and scientists must register with HHS to use Ricin in their research. However, investigators under the control of less than 1,000 mg are exempt from regulation. 44. Ricin is classified as an extremely hazardous substance in the United States as defined in Section 302 of the U.S. Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act, 42 U.S.C. 11002, and is subject to strict reporting requirements by facilities that produce, store, or use it in significant quantities. 45. Chemical or biological warfare agent. A metal vial containing Ricin. From the 2003 Ricin letters, the United States investigated Ricin for its military potential during World War I. 46. At that time it was being considered for use either as a toxic dust or as a coating for bullets and shrapnel. The dust cloud concept could not be adequately developed, and the coated bullet /shrapnel concept would violate the Hague Convention of 1899, adopted in U.S. law at 32 Stat 1903, specifically Annex 2 Chapter 1, Article 23, stating, it is especially prohibited to employ poison or poisoned arms. 47. World War I ended before the United States weaponized Ricin. During World War II the United States and Canada undertook studying Ricin in cluster bombs. 48. Though there were plans for mass production and several field trials with different bomblet concepts, the end conclusion was that it was no more economical than using phosgene. This conclusion was based on comparison of the final weapons rather than Ricin's toxicity. LCT 50-10 mg/min times m3. Ricin was given the military symbol W or later WA. Interest in it continued for a short period after World War II, but soon subsided when the U.S. Army Chemical Corps began a program to weaponize sarin. 49. The Soviet Union also possessed weaponized Ricin. The KGB developed weapons using Ricin which were used outside the Soviet bloc, most famously in the Markov assassination. 51. In spite of Ricin's extreme toxicity and utility as an agent of chemical /biological warfare, production of phetoxin is difficult to limit. The castor bean plant from which Ricin is derived is a common ornamental and can be grown at home without any special care. Under both the 1972 Biological Weapons Convention and the 1997 Chemical Weapons Convention, Ricin is listed as a Schedule I controlled substance. Despite this, more than 1 million metric tons, 1,100,000 short tons, of castor beans are processed each year, and approximately 5% of the total is rendered into a waste containing negligible concentrations of undenatured Ricin toxin. 52. Ricin is several orders of magnitude less toxic than botulinum or tetanus toxin, but the latter are harder to come by. Compared to botulinum or anthrax as biological weapons or chemical weapons, the quantity of Ricin required to achieve LD50 over a large geographic area is significantly more than an agent such as anthrax. Tons of Ricin versus only kilogram quantities of anthrax. 53. Ricin is easy to produce, but is not as practical or likely to cause as many casualties as other agents. 30. Ricin is easily denatured by temperatures over 80 degrees Celsius. 176 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning many methods of deploying Ricin would generate enough heat to denature it. 36. Once deployed, an area contaminated with Ricin remains dangerous until the bonds between chain A or B have been broken, a process that takes 2 or 3 days. 9. In contrast, anthrax spores may remain lethal for decades. Jan van Aken, a German expert on biological weapons, explained in a report for the Sunshine Project that Al-Qaeda's experiments with Ricin suggest their inability to produce botulinum or anthrax. 54. Developments. A biopharmaceutical company called Sylogenics, Inc. licensed an anti-ricin vaccine called Revax from Vitetit AL at UT South